Welcome and good morning. I'm Karen Brook, and today we're going to be reading Chapter 5 of You Were Born Rich, Expect an Abundance. Let's get straight into it today. The mind is a powerful magnet, and as such, it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. Expectation dictates what that ruling state will be, and therefore governs what corresponds to the mind and is attracted into your life. Expectation can be either a blessing or a curse, but either way, it is certainly one of the most powerful unseen forces in your life. What are you doing to increase your income? If your answer to this question is nothing, or if you are just beginning to think seriously about what you could do, you have probably not yet grasped the ideas presented in the previous chapters. You should be aware that the chapters in this book resemble the individual pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Each chapter is related one to the other in such a way that if we put them all together, we can see the entire picture. Since you are now well into the heart of the book, I would ask you to pay particularly close attention to the ideas which follow, so you can use them to successfully tie all the pieces together. You will soon discover that if the ideas in this chapter are applied with great intelligence, expectation can be the triggering mechanism which attracts into your life every good you desire. However, if you do not exercise extreme caution, expectation can also turn just as rapidly into a destructive, lethal enemy. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I want you to start thinking about that question. If expectation can be so powerful in bringing you what you want, why can it also be a very lethal enemy to you? I want you to think about that question. Therefore, you must be cognizant of how you are exercising this invisible but powerful force. I believe you already understand you cannot have wealth in your material world until you have first visualized the wealth in your mind. But what does this really mean? It means that before any of us can even begin to overcome the poverty which surrounds us in our external world, we must first conquer the impoverishment that is buried deep within ourselves. Now, when you think about that word poverty, I just also want you to think about, where does poverty exist in your life? Is it in your financial situation? Is it in your relationships? Is it in health? Is it in your business? There are lots of areas that you could be living in an impoverished state of mind that goes far beyond just money and wealth. Does that make sense? So as we get into these ideas in this book, it's really important to understand that, yes, wealth is a state of mind that can be induced, and poverty is a state of mind that can be programmed, that you have grown up with or that is around you. But at the end of the day, you can change it. And no matter what it is, whether you desire wealth or riches, we are going to consider that in all areas of your life, because I don't want you just to become rich financially, but then live in poverty, in a impoverished state of health or relationships or friendships. It's really about creating a rich, full life and experiencing an abundance in all areas of your life. In the preceding pages, I explained how prosperity, properly understood, is simply the inward awareness of the opulence, wholeness, and completeness that abounds within the spiritual realm. In other words, it is impossible to feel poor when you are conscious of being enveloped in the protective care of a loving God, universal spirit, or whatever else you may wish to call the spiritual center of our universe. Let me repeat. There never is, and there never has been, any lack of supply other than that which we have created for ourselves because of our own limited awareness. Let me repeat that again. There never is, and there never has been, any lack of supply other than that which you have created for yourself because of your own limited awareness. The light bulb tale. The following story should help underscore this great truth about your infinite source of supply. Visualize, if you will, a poor couple who have spent their entire lives living in the backwaters of civilization. Then imagine them suddenly transported to a small village where, to their astonishment, they discover that their new home is being lighted by electricity. Since they have had no previous experience with that force, in fact, they have never even seen an electric light before, they are completely mesmerized by the little 8 candle power electric bulbs which light their home. Several months pass by, and eventually the couple start to regard the light bulbs as an accepted facet of modern life. However, one day a smooth talking salesman appears at the door, telling them their 8 candle power electric bulbs are no longer adequate for their needs. He tells them they should buy the new 60 candle powered bulbs which have now come on the market. Since the couple has now become slightly more adventuresome, they agree to let the new salesman demonstrate his newfangled product. As soon as the light bulb is plugged in and the electricity turned on, the couple becomes transfixed once again, for not only does the new bulb emit a light, it actually illuminates the entire room. Never in their wildest fantasies have the couple ever imagined that the source of the new flood of illumination had been there all the time. Nor had they realized this enormously increased light could originate from the same current which fed their little 8 candle power bulb. This is so good. So good because I can visualize exactly what he's talking about here in terms of how you connect with the higher power to create exactly what you want. It's strange. We smile at the naivety demonstrated by this poor couple, but the truth is most of us, you, are even less aware of your own power than this couple was of the power of the electric current. For like the couple in the story, we never even dream that the infinite current which surrounds us could flood our lives with a light more magnificent than the most powerful light bulb ever devised. We never grasp the simple truth that all we need to do to improve our results is to plug a larger, more prosperous idea into the infinite current of life. Instead, most of us strangle our supply with energy impoverished ideas, thoughts of doubt and fear, which entirely cut off the inflow of prosperity. I remember when I was talking to someone about my coaching program, Thinking into Results, a number of years ago, and I said, it's like you unkink the hose. Thinking into Results allows you to unkink the hose. You have this infinite source of supply, and it is flowing to and through you all the time. But just like a garden hose, when you're out in the garden and you get little kinks in it, you cut off the supply, and your paradigms are cutting off your supply and are diminishing how much flow you can get from that source of supply. And then when you plug into Thinking into Results, you start to unkink the hose. And as you continue to study and you continue to move through studying and understanding and expanding your level of awareness, you start to plug in bigger hoses and bigger hoses, and you get to the firefighter's hose, and there's an amazing amount of pressure, and you get exactly what you want straight away, because you've really unkinked and created this beautiful flow within yourself to be able to bring you what you want faster than you ever thought possible before, which is exactly what he's talking about there, that you can learn how to have this infinite flow, this source of supply, bringing you what you want faster and in greater quantities than ever before when you learn how to work in harmony with it. I want to exhort you, therefore, to resolve to change your habitual pattern of thinking now. That's right, change it now. And remember, the stream of plenty always flows towards the open, expectant mind. You know, a closed mind will never accept new ideas. You've got to have an open mind and an expectant mind, and you've got to believe on some level that what I'm telling you is true. If you reject what I'm telling you, then nothing will change. If you believe and open your mind to what I'm telling you, and I'm not here to BS you, and Bob wouldn't still be around doing what he's doing if he was BSing a lot of people for the last 85 years. You got to have an open mind for this to work for you. You got to have an expectant mind. You got to understand and lean into that truth within yourself that's been telling you for years, if not decades, that you're capable of more. But the second that you go to step out and do that, there is an equal power, just as forceful, that decides to talk you out of doing what you want to do. So quit doing that. Just have an open mind. Expect that you can create what you want and move in the direction of it. You must understand you already have in substance, if not in physical form, everything necessary to produce prosperity in your material world. The two determining factors for you to maintain the results you want are desire and expectation. Up to this point, you might have been living the way the masses live their entire lives, simply because you are harboring the false assumptions that desire is the only thing which you need to reach your goal. But you must understand, if your desire is not combined with the expectation that you will receive what you desire, you will find yourself continually frustrated and disappointed whenever you begin working towards any kind of material goal. When you cast your mind back over the experiences of your life, you will soon realize that whenever you did reach a desired goal, you not only desired that goal, but you actually expected to attain it as well. You want to put a little asterisk, a little star next to that paragraph, even highlight it. If you've got your highlighter next to you, you'll be glad that you did. Let me repeat, desire without expectation is nothing more than wishful thinking. And as we have already pointed out, since the vast majority of people wish positive but expect negative, they seldom attain what they are after. You can desire positive, but still be in an expectant vibration of receiving the negative. In this magnificent book, The Science of Getting Rich, in his magnificent book, The Science of Getting Rich, the author Wallace de Wattles gave us an excellent definition of desire. He said, desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without, through your action. In other words, your ideal dream or goal, this wealth you wish to see materialize, can only become a desire once it has been properly planted in the subconscious mind. However, once your desire has been firmly established, it is the expectant attitude which ensures that your goal or dream is not uprooted or replaced by an opposing or competing ideas. And that's usually what happens, is that you desire something, you'll say, I'm going to do it, and then you'll talk yourself out of it. And that's what we call the paradigm. In an effort to help you rekindle this expectant attitude towards real wealth, let us journey together through some of the preceding chapters in this book. As you will remember, we began by discussing money. We attempted to understand the true nature of money, and we arrived at the conclusion it is a useful, obedient servant. However, like all servants, we learned it is useful to us only when it is being employed. Therefore, we concluded money must always be kept working or otherwise circulating. For it is not, as we have already mentioned, it will become as useless as old newspapers stashed away in an attic. Next, we explore the idea relating to exactly how much money you want. You became aware of the fact it is necessary to be very specific about how much money you need to provide the things you want to live in the style you choose. Once this figure had been decided upon, we then examined the importance of building the image of ourselves already in possession of this wealth on the screen of your conscious mind. We also talked briefly about the manner in which images are formed and the role they play in our lives. And I also mentioned in that video that if you need a hand getting clear on what those figures are and how you really want to live, that I've created a PDF download for you, 5 things you must know before you set your money goals. If you would like a copy of that PDF to work through, then just leave a comment on this video and we'll share the link with you so you can pick it up and go and download that PDF. Then we examined the idea of consciousness and how it was imperative to develop the prosperity which we seek in our mind first, before we can ever attain it in our bank books. We learned how we had to bathe our subconscious minds in a concept of prosperity and how we had to see wealth as being already in our possession. In the chapter Let Go and God, and let God, we became aware we are co-creators. We became aware of how we had in our conscious mind the ability to choose any thoughts we wanted, to build any images upon which we choose to build. We then learned how we could turn that image over to our subconscious mind, the spiritual center of our being, and that part of us which takes any idea or image we give to it, then willingly accepts it and instantly begins to move it into physical form in our world. We discovered that when we truly understand this creative process of life and our role in it, expectation becomes a natural mindset, regardless of how things might appear in our outside world or what others might be saying to us. We are told this absolute and unshakable faith or belief in the fact that our images are moved into form. Is essential if we are to become successful in our lives. I'm going to read that sentence again, my apologies. We were told this absolute and unshakable faith or belief in the fact that our images are moved into form is essential if we are to become successful in our lives. We also gained an awareness that all of this will happen once we begin to see ourselves as non-physical entities encased in physical bodies. You want to say to yourself an affirmation like this: I am not my body, I live in a body. I am not my body, I live in a body. I am not my body, I live in a body. And the more you study and understand this, you'll realize that your body is merely a manifestation of what's going on in your mind. It will move and create and behave and show up according to the images and ideas that you're holding and impressing upon your mind, more importantly, your subconscious mind. Once we realize our bodies are nothing other than the physical manifestation of our non-physical selves, we will understand they are obedient servants of our mind, and they move and have their being according to the vibratory rate of our minds. So understand this, that $250,000 a year is not big to your subconscious mind, nor is $20,000 a year small to your subconscious mind. It is neither big nor small. It is an image or an idea. That's it. That's how the subconscious mind takes and works with it. You must reach the stage in your mental development where you don't just believe that your image of material wealth will manifest in form, but you actually know it will. It is at that point you will begin to expect to receive the physical expression of your image of wealth. I think you should highlight, underline, put a little star next to that sentence. It's another one for you to come back to and remind yourself of. No one and no thing will be able to cause you to see in your mind anything but that. That's having a rock star attitude. That's having a bulletproof attitude. Always remember the truth is not always in the appearance of things. An elderly, wealthy gentleman being interviewed by a newspaper reporter was asked at what point he became successful. His answer was, I was successful when I was sleeping on a park bench because I knew where I was and I knew where I was going. At this juncture in the book, you know where you are and you know where you are going, so expect to get there. Your desire is the motor power which will move you in the direction of your dream, and expectation is the attractive force that will move your dream in your direction. So see yourself moving towards the wealth you visualize and see the wealth you visualize being attracted to you. You can highlight that sentence. Know that you will come in contact with the wealth that is moving to you and at the right time. No one knows what period of time must elapse, so don't become impatient if it doesn't materialize overnight. All we know for sure is a certain period of time must elapse, and the period of time which your image must take to materialize is governed by the law of gender. The law of gender decrees there is a gestation or an incubation period for the manifestation of all seeds, and make no mistake about it, the image of wealth you choose to build on the screen of your conscious mind and then turn over to your subconscious mind is a seed. And it is growing into physical form in the most fertile field of which you could ever conceive. Now imagine you've planted this seed and then you water it with fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. You rip it out one day and plant a different seed the next day. What do you think you're going to get? Probably not what you want. You are the master gardener. You're the one in control of this. If you're emotionally involved with those feelings of fear, worry, doubt, and anxiety, you're going to grow that. If you're emotionally involved in the feelings of prosperity, wealth, success, gratitude, joy, expectation, anticipation, appreciation, you're going to start to create great results in your life. It is not necessary at this point for anyone else to see this new wealth. It is not even necessary for anyone else to believe you will receive it. The only thing necessary is that you see it and you believe it. And in fact, I'm going to give you one very important piece of advice at this point in time. It was some advice that I took on a number of years ago, and it really was the difference, probably at the time, between me creating what I wanted or falling into a trap over and over again that I had fallen into. And that was asking other people what they thought or telling other people what I was going to do, asking for someone else's opinion or permission for me to create what I wanted. And I took this piece of advice and wisdom from Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And he said, tell the world what you are going to do, but show them first. And I remember repeating that over and over again because so long and so often I sought out the opinions and guidance of other people around what they thought I should do, whether I should take the course or invest the money or buy the car or start the business or quit the business. And for the first time in my life, I really went within, and with the appropriate mentorship and guidance, I trusted my gut around what I wanted to do. And I followed that quiet voice within, and I took action and I made those decisions for myself. And I didn't declare it or tell anybody. I just got on with the job, and very soon the results started to show up for the rest of the world to see. And then they all wanted to know what I had been doing. So I want to give you that advice too, because the second you start to ask other people what they think you should do or what the right thing is for you to do, you're only going to get judgment and opinions based on their paradigms, their self-image, and their perception of the world, which has nothing to do with your potential, what you're capable of doing. So really tell the world what you're going to do, but show them first, and show them through your decisions backed with productive action. The only thing necessary is that you see it and you believe it. You see, the premise that Napoleon Hill built his life's work on is absolutely true. Anything the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. Expressed another way, as a person thinketh in their heart, so are they. The early Greeks referred to the subconscious mind as the heart. Note that your subconscious mind can no more change or alter your image than an ordinary mirror can reflect back to you an image different than the object you are holding in front of it. So what he's saying there is you're going to get exactly the byproduct of the image that you plant. It's as simple as that. But remember, as you think, so are you. Does not mean as you tell people you think, or as you would wish the world to believe you think. It means your innermost thoughts, which only you control, know the truth. So it's not what you declare on the outside. It's not what you tell somebody else you think you know. It's how are you speaking to yourself? What are your innermost thoughts? That is your truth, and that is the direction that you're moving in right now. And that's what you're going to get. That is what you expect. So if we understand that thoughts, 98% of your thoughts are automatic and on autopilot, that's the direction that you're heading in. And therefore, that's what you expect. That's where I'm going to teach you how to create that profound change. So that is what you attract. That is what you expect. So those innermost thoughts are actually what you really expect. And so that is what you're going to attract. And that is what you will ultimately receive. This, I could spend days and weeks talking to you just about this, but I don't have the time to do that. But you want to highlight and underline those sentences, and you can book a discovery call with me and we'll discuss this and how this is really relating to your life, because this is the cornerstone of everything. It's what's really going on the inside that's creating everything in your life. It's your deepest, innermost thoughts and beliefs and attitudes and ideas and images. And this is what you're coming to expect. And because you expect it, you're going to attract it. And because you're attracting it, you're ultimately going to receive it. Through studying the power of your subconscious mind, or studying in depth the power of modus operandi of spirit, it will become easier and easier for you to come to expect the good that you desire. For all things are possible in spirit, because in its original state, spirit is a sensitive, unseen, creative substance whose sole purpose is expansion and fuller expression, in other words, growth. However, spirit or creative substance can only reproduce, expand, and express itself in greater way in accordance with the limitation placed upon the instrument through which it expresses itself. Think about this. Think about what I'm teaching you and helping you to become aware of today. When you walk into a room and you flick on the light switch, you expect to get light, don't you? If you take that 40-watt globe out and you put a 100-watt globe in and you walk back into the room and you switch on the light switch, you expect to get more light. Would you agree with me? So why is it that you doubt your own ability to create the good that you desire? You don't understand all the intricacies of physics and energy to be able to create more light in the room that you walk into, right? So when you start to understand this and you just know how to work in harmony with this, you start to expect that, well, if I do certain things, if I put a bigger idea in, I'm going to get bigger and better results. You don't have to understand the intricacies of every single part of the science and mechanics of this. You just need to know how to work in harmony with it, how to walk into the room, flick the light on, and experience the greater version of light that you have. And the only way that you do that is through study. The only reason why at the moment you're showing up in your life and not expecting you to get the bigger, better results that you desire is ignorance. That's it. It's not that you're not capable of it. It's not that it's not available to you. It's not that the supply doesn't exist. It's that you're ignorant to the state of mind and the habits that you must be in to receive the good that you desire. How do you close that gap? Through study. There is no other way. You must study, and you must commit to studying and growing your conscious level of awareness. And as you do that, you're going to get better and better at putting in bigger ideas and getting more light in your life and being able to see further and create more and experience more of the abundance that always has been and always will be your birthright. Since spirit is flowing to and through you, you are the instrument. Therefore, the image or the ideas you hold in your mind dictate the limits which are placed on the spiritual power flowing to and through you. That's the light bulb. Change the light bulb, get a bigger flow of power. In this respect, you may be compared to the light bulb. Oh, here we go. I didn't actually know this was the next part of the story. That must have been spirit guiding me to share that with you. In this respect, you may be compared to the light bulb the elderly couple had in their home. You are an instrument through which spirit flows, just as a light bulb is an instrument through which electricity flows. When the old couple plugged in the 8 candle power bulbs, the electricity was limited in its expression by the power of the bulb. However, when the salesman plugged in the 60 candle power bulb, the electricity was free to express itself to a greater degree. And yet even then it was limited by the form through which it flowed, namely the new bulb. A 100 candle power bulb would have permitted an even greater expression, and so on and so on. Therefore, if you held an image of poverty, that is what you will have seen expressed in your results or your material world. However, since you are now holding an image of prosperity, that is the image you will see expressed in your material world. Now, if I go back here a little bit further, and I'm going to talk about my coaching again, because the reality is that if you're not involved in an organized coaching program, the likelihood of you being able to apply and experience any of what I'm talking to you about is fairly limited. It doesn't mean that you might not create a little bit of positive change, but the likelihood of you really changing your results and improving the quality of your life is pretty slim, because you come up against these hurdles along the way, the fears, the doubts, the worries, the anxieties, the terror barriers, the paradigms, and without guidance to know exactly what to do to move through that, it's going to be pretty hard for you to change. My coaching, all of my coaching programs have at their foundation or their core the essence that I'm teaching you and helping you to understand exactly what you need to do to change the light bulb, and to install the new light bulb, and to experience the goodness that the new light bulb brings to you. I'm like the person coming into your home and showing you how to put that new light bulb in so that you can actually start to get better light, better results, more riches, more wealth, more prosperity in your life. And then how to continue to recreate, reinvent the new light bulb, the new version of you, the new image over and over again, so that you can then continue to expand the amount of light illuminating on your potential, on your results, on you really being able to live with time freedom, with money freedom, with creative freedom, with people around you who love and support you and grow you and nurture you, who are upbeat, enthusiastic, and ultimately all of this leads to you improving the quality of your life. But it starts with you first. You have to upgrade the light bulb. You have to upgrade the image. You have to upgrade you if you want to experience more and better in any area of your life. Now, you might not be ready to do that yet. You might think that you're not ready for change, but I can guarantee you that if you're honest with yourself, I know that you don't want to be in the same position 12 months from now. In fact, it'd be a little bit of a knock on the self-esteem ladder if you got to 12 months down the track and nothing in your life of any significance had changed or improved. And I'm not saying you have to be sick to get better, but what I am saying is that you are ready for this. Because if you don't really get into the serious study and application of this, I guarantee you will be creating the exact same results 12 months from now. Now, if that's what you want, and if you're going to rationalize with yourself around that you're okay with that, well, you're probably not the right client for me anyway. But if you are willing to follow that quiet voice within and really say, well, you know what, I don't know whether I'm ready for this or I can do this, but what I do know is I don't want to be in the same position 12 months from now. Even though my results are okay, I actually do know that I'm capable of more. And if I don't move on that now, nothing's going to change. And if you feel like that you're drawn to that, then let's have a conversation. Let's stop beating around the bush here, right? The only thing that's going to get you moving is a decision backed with action to change. And there's going to be a part of your self-image, a part of your mind that doesn't like that idea. But I'm telling you right now, but that is what it's going to take. And you'll be so glad that you reached out and connected with me. You'll be so glad that you had the courage to say yes and really invest the time and money in yourself and continue to do it. You will keep doing it because you know why? Your self-image will keep expanding. Your self-worth will keep expanding. Everything about your life will keep improving, and you'll just want more and more of it. And you'll come to understand that you can create more and more of it as you continue to expand your conscious level of awareness. And the only way that you can do that is through study. It's a very, very simple formula once you understand how to do it and how to continue to do it. So if this is resonating with you, I want to invite you to have a conversation. Just leave your details on the thread here and we'll reach out and connect with you and start a conversation that matters. It might be the very conversation that completely transforms the direction of your life if you let it. What was the last chapter we just read? Let go and let God. If you let it, if you get into the spirit of what we're doing here, I promise you, your life will just continue to get better and brighter, and you'll become richer and wealthier and more prosperous and more abundant and healthier and more vital. Everything just continues to change. What I love about my clients is that they're such serious students and we have such an incredible community of people all over the world who are studying this and working with me in this way across different coaching programs. But one thing in common is they all started with the foundation thinking into results. They might have moved into other intensives and elite level programs and private coaching and different things with me, but they have one thing in common. They have all studied with me the foundational program of thinking into results, which gives you the exact building blocks, 12 building blocks, to be able to create any sort of permanent change in your life. And so I want to invite you to have a conversation about that. If you're watching this and you're wanting to really create a shift in your results, if you're wanting to really learn how to create a permanent shift, like not just a short-term improvement, but you permanently want to change and improve your results, and you want to know how to improve the quality of your life for the rest of your life to become happier, healthier, wealthier, more prosperous and abundant, and to be able to then give that to your kids and your family and your community and your team, then have a conversation about that. If you've been studying with me before, then continue to study. Get involved in the next level of coaching that's going to move you to a higher level of awareness, so you can be like plugging in that bigger light bulb, so you can experience more light in the room of your world, more light in the room of your soul, and create even better results, because there really is no end to this. Since spirit is flowing to and through you, you are the instrument. Therefore, the images or the ideas you hold in your mind dictate the limits which are placed on the spiritual flow, spiritual power flowing to and through you. In this respect, you may be compared to the light bulb the elderly couple had in their home. You are an instrument through which spirit flows, just as the light bulb is an instrument through which electricity flows. When the old couple plugged in the 8 candle power bulbs, the electricity was limited in its expression to the power of the bulb. You're limited to the expression of you based on the power of the images that you're holding of you. However, when the salesman plugged in the 60 candle power bulb, the electricity was free to express itself to a greater degree, and yet even then it was limited by the form through which it flowed, namely the new bulb. A 100 candle power bulb would have permitted an even greater expression, and so on and so on. Therefore, if you held an image of poverty, that is what you will have seen expressed in your results or your material world. However, since you are now holding an image of prosperity, that is the image you will see expressed in your material world. The non-physical creative substance, which is spirit, flows to and through the seed and expresses itself in its polar opposite physical form. It's like the image has the DNA within it. And as this power flows to and through you, it starts to express whatever is programmed in that DNA of the image in physical form. As we have discussed on previous pages, the modus operandi of spirit is law. And of course, the law of attraction is a cause, and growth or expansion is the effect. Law of attraction is the cause, and growth or expansion is the effect. So keep visualizing yourself as a perfectly endowed spiritual instrument without limitations of any kind. Another day I'll teach you how to do that. Definitely don't have time today. For if you do, you will find it easy, in fact natural, to expect the good you desire. You will understand that doubt simply obstructs the unfoldment of your desire. So when you continually originate images of doubt, you know you will never see the materialization of the image you desire. Only the reproductive creative spirit of life knows what you think until your thoughts become physical facts and materialize in your body or your affairs. Then everyone with whom you come in contact may know, because the intelligent energy rewards you openly by reproducing your thoughts in physical form. As a man thinketh, as you think, that is what you become, should be kept in the forefront of our minds constantly. For when you expect something wonderful to happen, that is watching and praying without ceasing, at those times when we are not feeling quite up to par physically, or our mind is becoming clouded with doubt, we should realize it is time to pray with all the more conviction or work at developing a stronger feeling of expectation. You must guard your mind constantly against doubt because it is a crippling vibration. Whereas most of the preceding pages have been dedicated to the power of positive thoughts, namely the building of the image of prosperity, doubt is the flip side of the coin, negative thinking. And when you are entertaining doubts, what you are actually doing is creating images of the things you don't want. Moreover, justifying your doubt to yourself by originating reasons for it. You're rationalizing. Will do you absolutely no good. You cannot strike a bargain with your subconscious mind because the subconscious has no sense of fairness, no sense of humor. It cannot even determine what is good and what is bad for you. Every image just is to the subconscious mind. Therefore, your negative, worrisome, and doubtful images will be accepted just as quickly, as willingly as will your images of prosperity. Your subconscious mind cannot reject. It just takes whatever you give it and says, okay, thy shall be done. The instant you become aware you're entertaining thoughts which create doubt, become quiet, start relaxing and image yourself already in possession of the prosperity you desire. When you do this, you are altering the mental current which is flowing into your marvelous mind. Expect with all of your consciousness to receive your good in your material world. You think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. That was written by James Allen, who did write that little book, As a Man Thinketh. He wrote those words 3/4 of a century ago, but they are still true today and they will always remain true in the future. So what he's saying is where you go in your mind, you can see based on the physical results that you observe outside of you. So program your personal computer to expect good results, and that is exactly what you will receive. That's exactly what I can teach you how to do. I can help you how to do that. Reprogram your personal computer. You have this biocomputer, and when you learn how to start to reprogram it, you literally can start to create exactly what you want. There are no limitations. What is impossible to you, I think, is just a dare. Like, just dare yourself to do it and create it and learn how to do this. Just learn how to do this. It's so easy to do and it's so great to do. And when you get it, everything starts to change. Pat and John's story. As I was writing these lines, I received a telephone call from a beautiful couple, Pat and John, whom I would definitely number among my close friends. They called to tell me they were moving into their new home the following Tuesday, and I was elated to hear their delightful news. You see, less than 2 months earlier, I spent approximately 5 hours talking with them about the image-making concept and the awesome power of the expectant attitude. During the course of the conversation, I asked John what he wanted more than anything else in the world. And after a long period of silence, he looked me squarely in the eye and said, I would like Pat, Tony, Pat's daughter, and me to be in a house of our own by Christmas. And I would like my son to spend Christmas Day with us. Although John's son lives with his mother, he and John have a very warm relationship. I then asked him why he didn't just go out and make his dream become a reality. He replied he couldn't because he lacked the money to do so. I then had the audacity to remind John that all things are possible for those who believe, and therefore he definitely could make his dream come true. Perhaps he just didn't know how to go about doing it. The three of us then spent an hour discussing the kind of house they wanted until we had a very clear image of their dream home etched upon the screens of our minds. We talked about expectation, and I explained to them that many good things would appear to happen for them the instant they began to expect to be in their home by Christmas. I smile as I read that story because at consultant training that I was just at with Bob, he shared this story again and he was speaking about it. I'm actually going to leave our reading club there today, and I'm going to come back and pick up this story again with you tomorrow and share a few more personal insights around this with you tomorrow. I know there's only a few pages left from this chapter, but we're going to pick this up and I'm going to continue on this again with you tomorrow. I really have to run now. So as much as I'd love to keep talking about this with you, I do have to keep moving in my day. So it's been a pleasure to be online with you this morning. So I'll see you back here again, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we'll wrap up this chapter 5 on expectation, and I'll share a little bit more about this story with you directly from the horse's mouth by Proctor. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Karen Brook. Bye.